morning. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of
Sunday Chat.
There was a slight delay there, Paul.
Yeah, slight delay this morning.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we're busy.
Yeah.
We're bloody busy. And
Mind you, I have been reading Joyland. I've been reading a book for the last hour.
Yeah. And what have I been doing? Keeping on top of this house to make sure it's beautifully sparkling and clean all of the time.
I cleaned the bath this morning.
You rinsed it after having a bath, Paul.
That's right, I cleaned it.
Yeah, that's the usual thing to do.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
I gave myself a brownie point then.
I may take it away. Depending on your performance, Paul.
Oh dear.
I'll be scoring you out of 10.
Haven't performed for a long time. No. Yeah.
Disgusting. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Yes, we are coming to you from our clean house because we're in the swing of things now. We're in the swing of being sellers. Yeah.
That sounded like bean sellers.
Of being sellers.
I know, but it sounded like bean sellers.
Bean seller.
Yeah.
Do you have a bean cellar?
Yeah.
We don't.
And then of course they can be
shush
cellar
now,
is in cellar and
Paul.
cellar is in cellar. Yeah.
Well, what's that line from Donnie Darko?
Cellar
The
door.
most beautiful words are cellar door.
And I think is that why Cellar Door Productions is called Cellar Door?
No, because it's spelled differently.
I know it's spelt differently, but I don't know whether.
Well, it's just something from the movie. It's just part of the story. It's not that cellar door is the most beautiful combination of words ever.
I
Do
just
you think? I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is. But I think it's such a fabulous movie.
But it's part of the plot, isn't it?
It is completely, yeah.
If you've never seen Donnie Darko, watch it. It's a fabulous movie.
Do watch it.
It's very sad.
I want to watch it again.
Well, we can watch it. We've got it on DVD.
We've got the director's cut as well.
Yeah, we've got all the cuts.
One day I watched the one with all the sort of director's commentary and some of the actors' commentary. That was really interesting as well.
It?
Yeah. Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, all right. You've said that 3 times now, Paul.
It's about time travel.
So, we may as well start with our usual segment, Richard and Paul's Weather Report. Papa Paul, what has the weather been like this week in London?
Breezy.
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 Boys.
I can't say.
Breezy.
Yeah,
It has because of what I said last week.
Because of the jet stream.
That bloody jet stream. Coming down the east coast, bringing in cooler air.
Yeah.
It certainly is still cool. It might be 28 degrees out on the patio in full sun, but it ain't 28 degrees in the house,
No.
I can tell you.
And there's a hanging high, isn't there, at the moment? There's a hanging high to the northwest of Ireland. So south of Iceland, and it's sort of just hanging there. It's been hanging there for days, so the weather hasn't really changed. I think over the last couple of days and the next couple of days it's going to move eastwards.
Well, high pressure keeps things sort of
Locked.
staying where they are.
Blocked, actually. Blocked.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what's happening. But the isobars, they were saying the other day that the isobars are quite close together, but I didn't feel they were. I mean, there was like a good 100 miles between the isobars being shown.
Well, there was evidence that they were close together in the fact we've had wind.
I know, which is really bizarre. But
Anyway, let's move on.
Sun.
It's been beautifully sunny.
Sun. Lots of sun, but in the mornings it's generally been grey and cool, and the sun has come out after lunchtime. And when you've been in the sun, as Richard said, it is just glorious. But when you're not, or in the shade, that breeze is really quite chilling. It really is.
I do like to wear a large brimmed hat. What? What? What did I say?
Oh, it just made me laugh. Yeah.
Well, I like to keep the sun off my face.
It's like a sort of witch's hat without the sort of comb bit. It's just all sort of like big hats are in, I think.
I prefer to think it's something like maybe Joan Collins would have worn in Dynasty. Or Dynasty, as you say over the pond.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
I like to add a touch of glamour when one's in the garden, not being observed by anybody. Doesn't really matter, does it? No, I do wear a large brimmed hat because it keeps the sun off my face.
It does, and the last thing you want is to have any type of tan on your face.
God, no.
No, you wouldn't want that at all.
No, who'd want to look brown, leathery and crinkled? Like Paul.
I do wear a hat when I remember. It's not quite... No, its brim is nowhere near as
Well,
as
your
big.
hat's pointless, Paul, because it just doesn't shade your face.
Oh, it does.
Does
It does.
it?
I think it does. But
Slightly.
the problem... Well, when you're looking down, when you're sort of planting things, it obviously does, you know.
We should all be taking sun protection very, very seriously indeed.
We should. Yes, we should.
It's very
We should.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've got to be very careful. I mean, I spent a significant amount of time on a sunbed in my early 20s because it was the 80s.
It can't be.
It was.
That would make you more than 39.
It was the late 90s.
Some beds are really in the late 90s. Yeah.
Seriously, no, I did. So, you know, because it was the only... let's go into real life now. I can't even say how old I am.
He's a bit younger than me. Not that you look it.
No, of course not. Shush now, Paul. You're putting me off. What was I saying? Yeah, because you were nobody if you didn't have a tan in the 80s. You were nobody.
I was nobody.
Well, I used to use all the products that were available at the time, and they weren't very good.
Oh, I do remember we got that spray from QVC.
No, that was a good product.
That was a spray from...
Eco-Tan.
It was only about like 400 millilitres for like £5,000 or something, wasn't it? And it came in 4
That
bottles.
was a good product, Eco-Tan. I
Yeah.
found that great. But the ones I'm talking about in the 80s were things like Coty Sun Shimmer, which was like a cream. And I remember doing my legs, but just doing the bottom half of my legs because I was wearing cut-off jeans. And it rained when I was out.
It was like Bisto legs, was it?
Yeah. And my lovely white pumps became a shade of tan. Yeah, it was a disaster.
Oh dear. Oh yeah.
I had to pop into a toilet and wash my legs.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, they used to do that, didn't they? In the wartime, didn't they do gravy browning as the seams of tights or something?
I think they used whatever they could to put a line down their legs. That was the fashion.
Yeah.
But yes, so I used all the products. The ones that used to, you know, develop over an hour or so were a bit tricky as well, because if you didn't apply them evenly, it did look quite bad.
Blotchy.
Yeah, very blotchy and
What
very
they call
orange.
their,
Self-tan.
Yeah,
Self-tan.
but bronzing, aren't they? Bronzing things.
The best one I ever used was a powder.
Right.
And girls, you'll probably remember this one, Ultra Glow. With that big brush. I think I've still got my Ultra Glow brush upstairs. They were bronzing, like bronzing powder. You can get bronzing beads as well. Anyway, I've used them all. And now I just go, as I said last week, for that pure alabaster look. Like marble. Like Michelangelo's David. Yeah.
Hardly pure. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on with the show. So,
Yeah.
let's look at the book.
And it is going to get warmer, but it's still cool at night.
It
you know,
is. You cheers.
But last night we were both sitting here watching TV, and had our sort of hoodies on, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Because
did.
it really was quite
It was
cool.
chilly.
Yeah. I went in the garden to have a cup of tea at about 6:15 this morning, and I thought, no, I'm going to stay inside. It was just too chilly. Yeah.
So, Heist update. we're properly on the market now because we had what's called a sort of soft start, which is just testing the price. But now we've gone in on the hard marketing, which was quite successful. So our assigned, I was going to say social worker then, our assigned estate agent popped over the other day to look around the house because he's the one showing people around. This is different to the sales director that came over the other week.
Yeah.
And he was very happy and very nice chap. And the following day, we were told you've got 4 viewings between 3 and 5 o'clock. So we had to go out and sit in a neighbour's garden for 2 hours, which was rather lovely.
It was. I
Actually,
took my book and read my book with my hat.
I took my hat.
And you were in the
hammock.
In the hammock for a couple of hours.
For a couple of hours. And it was quite nice because we had nothing to do. No housework, nothing, no walking. Just sitting and being for 2 hours, which was a lovely luxury.
It was. I mean, we rarely do that.
Yes. No, we do rarely do that. We're always doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was lovely. And apparently they were quite positive about the house.
There was nothing negative that came up, apparently, and they were all positive. So we wait and see.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty more viewings.
I assume there'll be some other viewings. And if you do want to know what it looks like, then look for Doyle, D-O-Y-L-E, estate agents, and you'll see our house there. Yeah.
So that's all lovely. And actually, I feel quite calm. Yesterday I had a moment of feeling quite excited. And I think that period, I mean, there are still a few jobs to do in the house. There's still a few painting jobs to do. Just minor things.
But they're things that one would normally do that you want to catch up on, really.
Yeah, it's normal maintenance that I would do normally at this time of year. So, must be 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, yeah.
We were running a bit late this morning. You had a bath, didn't you?
I had a bath. We've done that. And I cleaned the bath and gave myself a Bond star, which you might take away from me. Yeah. So we will wait and see, you know.
Sorry, I zoned out a little bit there. I don't know why.
Yeah, so we expect a few more viewings and we'll let you know how it gets on next week.
So that's all good. I've been gardening, doing a little bit of gardening, and a couple of gaps where I'd removed the remains of some of the forget-me-nots. I've left some in to really develop their seed, although they are really going to seed now. And one little tip is, at this time of year, if you've got forget-me-nots and they've gone to seed, don't just rip them all out. Remove some of the seed and spread it around the garden where you want forget-me-nots to come up next year. And hopefully they'll develop. It sometimes takes a couple of years. But yeah, so I've been doing gardening, couple of gaps, popped to the garden centre, got a couple of plants, didn't we, Paul?
We did, and we also, one of our tenants at the allotments has got a van and he works at the garden centre, so I was able to talk to him about taking a tabletop from the side of our house down to the allotments as well, and hopefully we'll do that on Sunday.
Good.
So yeah, that was good.
That was good, Paul. So that was all super. We had another sociable week this week as well. I think we mentioned last week that a couple of friends are over from France and Canada with their sister, who's a friend of ours down the road, a neighbour.
That's the one that we were in her garden.
And we had another afternoon tea, which was fabulous.
Yeah. And they came over here as well.
They came over here for dinner too, which was lovely. The only problem with being sociable that often is one eats plenty of things that one shouldn't eat and drink plenty of things one shouldn't be drinking.
My weight loss journey!
Oh, Alexa, stop. Yeah, we've eaten loads of cakes, crisps, sparkling wine, although we were good at afternoon tea, weren't we? We just had tea.
And water.
But yeah, we've eaten a lot of sweet stuff.
I put on £4. of which I've lost 2.
And I broke out in several spots. Yeah, and actually this is kind of quite serious. When your diet is fairly, in inverted commas, clean,
Yeah.
um,
And home cooked.
we get a lot of good nutrients in every meal. Maybe apart from breakfast, we do eat cereal, but we don't eat, sugary cereal, do we?
No, I don't.
It's not that bad, the one I have.
No, it's not.
And
He likes Alpen though.
I do like
which has got
Alpen.
lots of sugar in it.
I do
You
like
also like those
Alpen.
granola ones.
I do like granola.
Yeah, I'm quite happy actually. I love bran flakes. I'm quite happy with bran flakes. Few
Anyway,
nuts and
shush,
seeds.
I was talking. We do have vegetables and salad with every meal, and every meal is vegetarian. So we drink a lot of water. So I think we get good nutrients, and I think we maintain pretty well. But as soon as we start eating sweet stuff and chocolate,
Like lemon drizzle cake,
carrot cake, chocolate cake, scones,
Oh, those scones were lovely though. Scones with jam and cream.
French fancies,
I love French.
those chocolate things that were just divine,
I didn't have any of those.
chocolate biscuits, chocolates, we had it all. It was lovely. I did. And yeah, I broke out. Luckily, not on the facial region, but just on my shoulder here. Yeah.
So there's a huge carbuncle
No,
he's got
it's
there.
not that big.
A bit like, was it Richard III?
And they actually heal pretty quickly, which is a sign you're getting enough vitamins. If spots heal quickly, it's a good thing.
We also had these things that they did in the air fryer, weren't they? Those breaded ball things.
Breaded balls
I didn't like them.
with mozzarella in them.
I didn't like them.
I did. I ate about 5.
I thought they were tasteless.
I didn't. I enjoyed them. And of course, last weekend was the last bank holiday weekend until August.
Yeah. Outrageous.
It is outrageous.
They give us 3 in 1 month, and then we have to make do with none.
I know. Disgusting.
Outrageous.
Anyway, so let's move on, Paul.
What are you doing with your foot?
Oh, I'm just touching you. It's warm. Your leg's warm.
Yeah, I am.
My
I do
feet
feel
are
quite
cold.
warm at the moment.
Do
My
you?
feet are a bit cold. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. What's been in the news this week? I'm going to raise this. I'm going to talk about this news. So those of you in the UK will be familiar with this massive story about Philip Schofield, who, if you don't know, if you're in another country, he is a very well-known television presenter that started on children's television years and years ago in the 80s. And very well loved by people. Anyway, he had an affair with a younger man, which apparently started when this young man was 20.
20?
Yeah. He met him when he was 15 and kind of met him again when he started working in television at 20. They had an illicit affair when he was married, when Philip Schofield was married. Well, there's been such a big hoo-ha, and Philip Schofield has been
Vilified.
hung out to dry because of this. He's lost his job, he's lost his agent, and has been really talked about by other TV people in a really nasty way. And I was kind of thinking about this, and I was thinking, my angle was, before Alison Hammond brought this up, let he who is, Alison Hammond, who's another TV presenter, let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah, totally.
You know, that was my first thought. My other thought was, I was under the impression that these large corporations like ITV and the BBC have a responsibility and go on ad nauseum about mental health issues and blah, 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 and it's so important to talk about this, and it's so we have got a responsibility to people with mental health issues.
And then when
blah, blah,
something
blah, blah,
goes
blah.
wrong,
when something goes wrong,
they call up the bus company, get 100 buses to come along, grab the person and throw them under them as they go past.
Yeah, literally that's what's happened. So there's been no responsibility taken for Philip's mental well-being at all. He's been thrown under the bus and just hung out to dry.
I mean, I don't know a lot of the story. When you said that this guy was 20,
Yeah.
I mean, legal age to have sex over here is 16.
Yeah.
He met the guy at 15. Did anything happen when they were 15? Then what is the problem? Okay, that meant that he was married at the time and he had an affair.
And he lied.
We've got a Prime Minister that has had numerous affairs. God knows, constantly.
Well,
I mean, all of them.
has ripped off the country in so many ways, and
I think it's just appalling because this.
Yeah.
I don't know the full story, but it seems to me as though everyone has jumped on the bandwagon of vilifying Philip Schofield, who I don't know the guy, never met him, really feel sorry for him. That's all I do, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, that was my point. I do feel sorry for him, and he's actually said he was interviewed about what's happened by the BBC, and I mean basically he feels suicidal. He's lost everything.
Yeah, well, if you want to ring us up, then ring us up, Philip, because I'm quite happy to chat. I can't see that he's. What I can see is for decades, big media companies like ITV have been exploiting people through X Factor and all of that. They've been making fun of people with mental health issues. They've been saying that they haven't. There's been big programmes that have been done. They've gone, oh no, we never were. They knew they were exploiting people. They are in the job of manipulating people. And also, that is what they do.
But also, Paul, I think what tends to happen with these big media companies is the entertainment industry itself is like a bubble.
Yeah.
And actually, people think they can get away with whatever they want in the entertainment world. I saw it. I gave 5 years of my life to the BBC, and I saw how people behaved in terms of some of the things that went on that I saw, that I'm not going to talk about because it's irrelevant, but they just really think they can get away with treating people however they want. I worked on the switchboard at one point, and believe you me, some of the disgusting behaviour and rudeness from producers, from news people, they used to phone the switchboard and say things like, "Get me this." "No please, no, good morning switchboard, would you put me through to?" Get me. And, woe betide anyone that put a news call through incorrectly to the wrong section of the news team. The news team used to go bonkers. And we'd be like, get over yourselves, goodness sake. Just put the call back to the switchboard and we'll reroute it, Oh no, they made such a hoo-ha. I had to do a flow chart for the operators when I became the trainer. I had to do a flow chart that had multiple streams on how to question a caller if they were calling asking for the news department. And there were so many different things you had to ask. Is it world news? Is it home news? Is it regional? Is it national? Is it this? Is it that? Until you got to the right section to put them through. Because naturally people used to phone wanting to comment on the news and they didn't deal with that. So it was, and they were so rude, so rude. And if you wanted to do a tour for new operators of the newsroom, oh God, you had to jump through hoops. Whereas the BBC World Service, based at Bush House at the time, I don't know whether they're still there, they were open arms. Yes, come along, you can watch the programme going out, blah, 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 blah. So lovely and welcoming and just, so nice. Because we used to do their international calls for the World Service.
Yeah.
What we used to call trunk calls. And so lovely. So lovely. But the newsroom at TV Centre, full of bitches. Seriously.
And also, it's, you are being shown, all of these entertainment programmes that we watch. I mean, we don't watch very many, but they've all been edited for the right audience.
Yeah.
So just like all of the big news channels in America that are right wing or left wing or whatever, they've all been edited to reach their target audience.
And also, the amount of alcohol that was consumed on the premises at the BBC.
Absolutely.
They had the BBC Club. They had several restaurants, and a lot of them served alcohol during the day. So you could have a bottle of wine with your lunch if you wanted. And people used to go back to work half cut.
Yeah.
Now, God, if that happened in social care and health...
Yeah, absolutely. All hell would break loose.
Really?
Heads would roll, literally.
But it was kind of acceptable behaviour. And it was also acceptable behaviour for newsreaders to go to the BBC Club of an evening and get rat-arsed and go back and do the show.
Well, it brings me on to something else that I read this week about a Labour MP who has had the whip taken away. So he's no longer effectively a Labour MP at the moment, even though he is. And he's been making it's claimed he's been making advances to women and commenting that they smell nice and things like that. And I mean, some of what I've read is really, really dubious. But then there was this comment, or this woman, young lady, 22, who was working in his department, said that he had made inappropriate comments to her when she was inebriated in the members' bar at the House of Parliament. And I'm thinking, why is anyone allowed to get inebriated in a members' bar of the House of Parliament, which is a subsidised premises, subsidised service owned by the people and paid for by the people? Why is that even allowed? I mean, madness.
In entertainment and politics, there seems to be a lot of people with absolutely no conscience and no morals at all. They really don't care who they throw under the bus. They really don't care who they trample on, who they destroy. We've dealt with a few producers over the years. I was contacted a few years ago by a couple of producers who were interested in hiring a life coach. I went to ITV to do an audition, and it was only me there. There was nobody else. Did I hear anything back? Did I even get an email or a conversation saying, oh, you're not suitable, or we're not interested? Nothing at all. And it happened again with somebody, oh, we'd love to use you, blah, blah, blah. Great, let me know when. Nothing. Not a sausage. Not even the wherewithal to just make a phone call and say, oh, thanks very much, we've got somebody else, thanks but no thanks. Which is fine, that's the way it goes. But just having the courtesy to get back to somebody and let them know, just rude.
Yeah.
And my experience of a lot of TV people is exactly that.
Absolutely.
They're rude.
Yeah. I mean, we've been asked a number of times over the years, oh, it would be really good if you were on this programme. Maybe you should contact them. And it's sort of like, nah.
We're not into that at all. It's not really our bag, We know what these industries are like. And, they raise people up. And then as soon as it's not working anymore, cut. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on, Paul. So, apparently, Paul tells me that it's British Tomato Fortnight.
It is, and I find it really bizarre because, of course, our tomatoes at the plot, they're just about that high. I know some are taller than others at our site, but yeah, it's basically commercial British Tomato Fortnight, and this is the sort of time where there's a real glut of British tomatoes.
Alexa, please stop. So, sorry, let me just get this right. So these are British tomatoes that have been grown under glass.
Most of them will have been, all of them will have been grown under glass or plastic.
In heated conditions.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
So like the Isle of Wight Tomato Company, where we've been sent tomatoes from
which
before.
Which were amazing.
Which were lovely. For our sake, buy some from tomatoes from the Isle of Wight, cherry tomatoes and vine tomatoes. And all of those will have been grown sort of early on, seed sown really early on, and grown in heated environments. So it's a real sort of glut period, and this is a period, fortnight, where British tomatoes are celebrated.
Well, we had our first tomatoes yesterday, didn't we?
We did, and they came from Spain.
Well, they were delicious, I have to say, because we had them out in a bowl in the window, on the windowsill, where they can ripen, and I have to say it was divine to eat them. We had them with hummus, salad and pittas.
Yeah,
and
then we had them in the
my mouth's
evening.
watering actually just thinking about them.
We had them in the evening as well.
Oh, we're having them today?
Most probably for lunch, yes.
Lovely.
Yeah, we'll have some for lunch.
Good.
I think it's going to be cottage cheese for lunch today.
We've not got hummus left?
No.
Oh,
No.
that hummus you made was divine, Paul.
I do make a good hummus from a tin of chickpeas.
You do now.
Because I do them in the machine. Richard doesn't like them too... He likes them nice and smooth. Hummus nice and smooth.
I like a smooth hummus, like a dip.
Yeah, he doesn't like it chunky.
No. Well, sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't.
Oh, right.
And I like hummus to have lemon juice in it.
Oh, well, there's always lemon juice.
Lemon juice and garlic.
Yeah, has to be in it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
and we had tomatoes last night with something else that I'm trialling at the moment, which is a red lentil sort of patty burger cross.
Patty burger.
Haven't got the recipe quite right yet, but I think it's going to.
Nice.
I think it's going to become a staple of ours.
Was it easy to make?
It's relatively, it is. It is. You blitz things up. I might do a video at some point.
I was just going to say, are you going to do a video, Paul?
There's a number of recipes that I think it's time to start thinking about a few recipes again. Yeah.
What cookery videos you mean?
Yeah. I do like these, and I did them about a week ago, and I felt they were a bit dry. And I added some...
They could have been served with gravy in a roast dinner.
They could.
Actually.
Yeah, they could. I think the nut roast is tastier.
Yeah, but as an alternative.
Yeah, as an alternative, yeah. But of course, roast dinners we do not have at the moment because of the electricity cost. But these are fried in a pan in very little oil. And yeah, I made them a week ago. I felt they were a bit dry, so I thought, I'll add some sun-dried tomatoes. And I think that made a difference. And I think I'm also going to add some olives to the next batch that I make.
Nice idea.
So make
finely chopped.
Yeah. All finely chopped. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do.
Green olives or black olives?
Well, I think they'll mostly be mixed olives. The thing is, I think I've said this before, most black olives that you buy, if they don't have a stone in, they're just dyed green olives.
What?
Because a black olive is ripe.
Yeah.
So you can't take the stone out easily.
Oh, I see.
So
what do they dye them with?
Well, they used to dye them with squid ink, but I don't think they do that anymore. Because they wouldn't be vegan. So, I don't know what they dye them with now.
I don't want anything that's had a squid ink in it.
I remember...
Poor squid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's another thing. It's really bizarre. There's a farm being opened up. And I just think that's mad.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, he's not talking about that.
No.
Oh, what are we talking about, Richard? What's on the list?
Well, I saw this video earlier today about this guy, and it was a comedy routine about how people at airports, when they're going on holiday, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and people hit the bars.
What do you mean hit the bars?
People go and have a drink.
Oh, have a drink? Oh my God! Oh yes, no, they do.
And I've seen a few friends.
Bizarre.
I've seen a few friends over the years post. We're going Turkey, whoa, we're in the airport, it's 5 a.m, we're having a pint of beer.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Neither do I. And you see these sort of planes, these holidaymaker planes of people drunk.
Yeah.
Woman on plane gets thrown off because she hit the bar at the airport and got drunk before she got on the flight.
I don't understand that.
Can somebody please explain this behaviour? Why do people suddenly feel the need to just drink and drink? I mean, I find this whole alcohol consumption thing that is, constantly marketed to people bizarre.
Yeah.
I
mean, I like a glass of wine. I do, and a very occasional gin and tonic.
Yeah, but if we were going to
whiskey,
Guernsey,
but very occasional. I think if I was in the lounge, not the departure lounge, in one of the lounges that you can go in before flights, I have had a glass of wine in a lounge before.
At 8 a.m. in the morning?
Not at 8 a.m. in the morning, no, I have a coffee or a tea.
Point.
If it's later in the day...
Well, maybe if you're having lunch, one might have a sparkling wine or a Coca-Cola.
Yeah. But I don't get, not that early in the morning.
8 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah.
6 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah. I think this is...
I just find it bizarre.
I mean, particularly the big airports, they do... I know that there's... very often they're glass, they're made of glass, so you can see what's outside. But they do sort of try and make them timeless, so that... Or like time stands still in them, so that you can do anything at any time of the day, whether it's drinking alcohol, whether it's, shopping for clothes or buying audio equipment. And I think all of that thing just feeds into that frenzy of, we're going to go on holiday and we've got to start enjoying it before we go. Well, just because you're going on holiday and you're going to enjoy yourself, you don't need to drink.
But it's like the holiday. It's like the whole holiday thing and drinking on holiday. I mean, I've done it when I was young. We used to drink at lunchtime on holiday, and I remember Mum and Dad, whenever we went anywhere, going to Mallorca, I think I remember. They buy a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of Bacardi duty free to have in the hotel room, and would have a drink at God knows what time. I just find it odd. I mean, if you're going on holiday to a beautiful part of the world, aren't you going to feel that sort of high naturally?
Well, hopefully, yeah.
You're going to feel elevated in a different place and, I mean, I'm not trying to sound holier than thou at all, but I just find it really bizarre when people do that in airports. Let's get in the holiday spirit and get completely rat-arsed
especially
before we get on the flight.
5 or 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning, something like that is just mad. But it's not what we would do.
No, and I'm not judging.
Well, you are actually, but that's fair enough. Yeah.
Well, we do judge sometimes, and I just find it odd.
We all judge. We all judge on a daily basis. It's part of human nature. Yeah. What was that?
Just to show I'm being nice.
I'll remember that in future then. Yeah.
Anyway.
I got told off this morning.
I was very, very annoyed because I was putting a loaf on for later because we're taking it over to a friend's house.
The bread maker.
I was putting, and my precision measuring jug, which came with the bread maker, and using bread makers requires precision, had disappeared into thin air from its usual resting place, which can only have been moved by one person. And that one person did not know where it was.
I said it could have been packed away, or it will be somewhere.
Why?
Well,
Why?
because we're clearing surfaces.
But you don't
and
pack things away that are
need to.
used.
No, when
And
was
it
the
was
last time
not-
you used it?
It was not in a place that was in the way of anything. It was in my Italian jug.
I know, but the top of it sits above the jug, and it was annoying the eye line. So I thought to
Paul,
clear that eye line, I would put it away.
When have you ever bothered about an eye line in the kitchen?
When I'm selling a house.
Well, you should get more bothered about it in daily life.
There we go. I do put my slippers on the thing there.
So I had to use a measuring jug and guesstimate 430 millilitres. If that loaf doesn't turn out, Paul, you can get up that shop.
I will most certainly be going up the shop anyway.
Get up that shop and get a loaf.
We're thinking of taking over our butterbean and cider casserole this evening have with the bread. But if we're going to have more viewings, I don't want to do cooking.
I think we'd have known about viewings by now.
Yeah,
Paul.
I think most of it. If it gets to 1 o'clock or so, then
we have to say no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But there we are.
Anywho,
where did you find it?
In the oven.
Oh yeah, I did put it there. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, so after I pulled everything out of every single cupboard in the kitchen, you remembered that you'd put it in the oven.
Well, no, I remember now. I
That's
couldn't
what I
remember
mean.
where it was. Yeah, it was in the oven. Yeah. Because we're not using the oven at the moment, so it's an additional storage area. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. You wanted to give an update on Mum, Paul.
Yeah, I spoke to Mum. We're hoping to get over end of June, beginning of July, something like that. And she was on good form. And also
she's quite chirpy at the moment, isn't she?
Yeah. It's quite breezy there as well, so she hasn't been going out on her walks quite as much because she's doesn't feel safe when it's quite breezy. And where she is, there is a little bit of a wind tunnel there, isn't there? So she goes out with one of the carers, but one does need to be careful. And looking forward to seeing her when we can get over there. So yeah, fingers crossed. But she's good, and I understand my niece has sold her house as well, because they're looking at moving within Guernsey, obviously for them. So they've had their house on the market, and Mum thinks that it's been sold, and they're looking for a new home now. So yeah.
Is that a bone in your leg, Paul?
Yeah, I have bone. Most people have bones in their legs.
That's it then. It's very hard.
Yeah, it's a bone. That's why. Yeah.
Anyway, that's good. You also wanted to give an update on your work, Paul. You've got a new potential job coming up, haven't you?
I think I said a couple of weeks ago I went and had a meeting in Barnes, which is the closest I've been into London for work for many years. And it looks as though that's coming to fruition. A film that's going to be filming coincidentally in Wales, a potential new studio in Ireland, and a couple of other films as well. So that would be great if that happened. It would be great if it sort of started taking off after we'd moved house, though. That would be good. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, it was. It's nice to read a new script as well. I haven't read scripts for quite a while, so.
And finally, what have we been watching on television this week, Paul?
Well, talking about going on holiday, we watched this film. What's the director's name?
M. Night Shyamalan. Whatever his name is, yeah.
It was called Old.
It was a horror.
And I sort of felt that we both got old in the first half. We aged 3 times quicker than we were supposed to in the first half.
You might have done. Speak for yourself.
But in the second half, we both enjoyed it, and unlike some of this guy's films, there was a resolution at the end. Would I recommend it? Would you recommend it?
I think if you like anxiety-riddled films, then yeah, go for it. I found it a little bit too like that.
Particularly the first half.
And I thought they were all a little bit stupid.
Yeah.
weren't they? I mean, you know, we'd have clocked on straight away. Well, I'd have spotted you aging rapidly, Paul.
Are you sure?
I don't think you'd have noticed with me. Alexa, please stop. I've got a long way to go before I look anything as old as you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you don't use Vivibalm. I do.
Not on my
What was
face. A plane.
So yeah, we watched old. We started the new series of Sister Boniface.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's a bit more. They've gone for more sort of
Quicker
comedy,
edits.
quicker edits.
Quicker edits. It was faster paced. I'm not sure it suits the genre particularly.
I can't even remember what the story was. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah.
We sort of fell into an episode of Glow Up, which is a sort of competition reality TV makeup show, which is all about sort of extreme makeup, prosthetics and stuff like that. We quite enjoyed it and decided to sort of have a route around and start series 4.
Which we're 3 episodes into.
Yeah, it's kind of quite enjoyable. Some of the contestants are bloody annoying, frankly.
Sometimes the judges are bloody annoying as well.
Yeah, it's one of those shows, it sort of has a format and it sticks to that format. There's a couple of catchphrases that the presenters have thrown
Ding dong,
in.
darling, ding dong.
You
ding my dong,
Yeah.
darling. That goes, she does that at the same time, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But it's quite funny because, you know, you can see when the judges come in, they've been sort of told, you know, you need to be quite stern at this point, or you need to be a bit more relaxed, or you need to look like this. And it does feel very, very strictly directed, which then is quite a juxtaposition to actually how the contestants are. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but I feel it's a bit, you know, doesn't sort of work well together.
I find these shows seem to have all taken their cues from Drag Race, in a way. You know, it has that similar rhythm, although we don't seem to be seeing as much of the vulnerabilities of the contestants.
No.
Whether we've got far enough into the series, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it kills a half hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It only feels like half an hour. I don't know how long it is. Yeah.
We continue rewatching Father Brown, which we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And The Golden Girls is a staple at the moment.
We watched one episode yesterday, which was, I think it's series 2 or 3. It was a crossover with another series that was running at the same time, where the families sort of intermingled, two households intermingled. And that I always forget that it's a sort of hash of 2. And it sort of,
You're talking about The Golden Girls here, aren't you?
Golden Girls, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And obviously we watched Question Time, which was okay this week.
I thought it was good this week. I thought they had really good panellists this week.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was that good.
I thought it was good. I think they got to the nub of things. And also they didn't... The Labour and the Conservative didn't talk over each other so much. They actually let each other speak, which I think is important.
Yes, it is important, Paul. So that's it for this week's show.
We didn't watch Citadel, have we? We went to watch it and I couldn't find the episode. So he's bored with Citadel.
Citadel.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
It literally makes me yawn the minute I think of it. So that's it. It's soon time for our lunch.
It will be, yeah.
So cottage cheese, crackers, salad, tomatoes, and a bowl of soup.
Yeah, I can do a bowl of soup. Yeah.
Was that my bread maker beeping?
I think it was.
Oh,
yeah.
I better go and rescue the bread before it's completely and utterly stuck to the pan.
Yeah, because you need to turn it out as soon as it's cooked,
Yeah.
don't you? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it continues sort of.
Sticks.
Yeah.
So bye for now. Thank you, bloody thank you.
And we'll see you again next week for another Sunday chat.
Bye.
Bye.